Oi, what's up boys and grots and little snots, and can't forget the digger knobs.
Hey, what's going on everybody? This is G The Hypersapien, and in this video we're going to have a look at OTP terrain and miniatures, and also Gear Guts Mech Shop, the 4 war bosses. So as you can see, I've got a huge box in front of me. This is from OTP Terrain and Miniatures. They do high quality 3D printed game and terrain and UV resin printed miniatures. They also have the license to sell Gear Guts Mech Shop's 3D printed orcs. He also has a website that he sells his stuff on, and he also has a Patreon that he gives you the files so you can 3D print them yourselves. But I don't have a 3D printer, so basically I've wanted to have a look at his stuff for a while, but I haven't been able to get my hands on it. Now OTP Terrain and Miniatures are in Australia, and obviously so am I, so that gave me a great opportunity to have a look at Gear Guts Mech Shop's orcs. I grabbed the 4 war bosses because I really liked his design for the war bosses, but also I'm going to rate and review OTP Terrain and Miniatures. But I'll leave all of their websites and the Patreon in the description box, so if you like what you see, go and have a look. Also, I believe Gear Guts Mech Shops has a UK and a USA store as well. I'll find those details out and I'll put that in the description box in case you're from the UK or USA or closer to them. It'll be better, probably shipping price. So they do have a bit of a backlog. This did take about 4 to 5 weeks to get to me, but that's fair enough. I've got plenty to keep me busy, and yeah, obviously a lot of people are buying a lot of miniatures and stuff during this lockdown pandemic period, so that's all good. When I did contact them to ask them about it, they are very nice people. They respond really fast, and they told me how long it would take, and they had a few family issues at the time, which I understand and I appreciate. And yeah, I hope everything's okay with their family now, and I appreciate them sending this box for me. Now, obviously I did pay for it, but enough rambling, let's have a look. Now I took off the label with the address and everything on it. As you can see, it's a huge box. Has a lot of packing peanuts. So, wow, how nice is this? Now, I grabbed the 4 war bosses, so they put this in for a freebie. Now, I got the 4 war bosses, so this is Gear Guts Orc Miniature, basically to represent himself from memory. Now, I grabbed the 4 war bosses, is what I paid for and ordered. Now, I believe this is Mark 1 of Gear Guts, his orc. This is obviously put in for free, as they said that they had put in some freebies because it took so long. Now, I really appreciate this. Now, thank you very much for putting this in and adding this to my order. I really appreciate it. So, cheers. Now, I'll grab out all the miniatures and clear up this area. Just wanted to show you what it's packed in. Really nice. It's got this packing peanuts. Yeah, it's really nicely packed, and yeah, I appreciate that. Now we'll take another look at Gear Guts. Now this is really nice resin. This is just as good as any other resin that I've reviewed on the channel, if not better than some. Now you can see it's got a bit of stuff residue on it. Now you need to give this a bit of a rubber dub anyway to clean off any of the molding release. And yeah, we'll talk about Gear Guts' design now. His orcs are really expressive. I like how the faces are kind of like skulls on his. So it's like a little human skull almost, with ears and this big jaw piece, which is really interesting. So it gives some really cool painting opportunities. Come up with some nice creative colour schemes or ideas for how to paint him. And as you can see, there's plenty of detail. So this is flesh this side, got a few stitchings under there, a few staples. So that's all flesh, and this side is cybernetic, which is really cool. And then his leg here is a bit more orky or fleshy, and he's got his mechanical leg. Really cool, nice, lots of nice little rivets. He's got all these, so he's got all these little, they look like containers on his belt. All these rivets all over him. A nice big gun. The barrel's already drilled, which is nice. I like how he's got this strapping or belts wrapped around his arm. Love how he's got some bolts and stitches and stuff putting all his arm together. Then he's got these wires that go from the fleshy part to the mechanical part. As I say, really nice, strong, heavy resin. You won't be snapping or breaking. Now this miniature is all put together, and if you watch the channel, you know I like sub-assemblies, but you're not really going to have any issues painting this. There's no parts that are really too close where you can't really get to, so you'll really appreciate and like that in the design. But yeah, thank you OTP Terrain for sending me this. Really appreciate it. It's a fantastic model. I've done a fantastic job at 3D printing this. It's absolutely amazing, the job that you've done, and Gearguts has done an incredible job with this design. Now, they sent me these as well, which I'm really happy about. So I'm getting some nice Gearguts stuff here. Really appreciate it. So cheers for sending me this OTP Terrain. You guys are awesome. So I believe this is an Orc Bruiser from Gearguts. Now, these are really cool. So as you can see, it's got a similar face where it kind of looks like a skull, and, you know, little skull here with some ears and a big jaw. Really like that. It's one of those things as well. You see pictures online and they look okay, but in person they're just so much more detailed and amazing. And yeah, OTP Train have done a great job at 3D printing these. They look really detailed and good. So basically he's got a gun or a slugger in his hand, holding it out. He's got this nice wrist strap around him with a bit of teeth or glyph design on it. It's got all these chains. It's got this sort of belt or strap around him. Bit of armour. Nice legs. Yeah, these are really nice sculpts. Nice design for sure. Here's another one. So here's another one. He's got goggles on him, which look really cool. He's got these nice big shoulder pads. Some rivets over it. I love the way these choppers are designed. They're really unique. So I really like that. Nice big sharp blade with some big rivets or bolts on it. The feet are really cool. The shoes. It's got a nice slugger with a wristband again. I like how these are on different hands on this one. So yeah, he's really cool. Now we got this one. He's got his goggles over his face, over his eyes. A nice big chopper again. Now you can see that he's got a shirt on. This one has a little bit of clean up here and there, but nothing a hobby knife won't fix. Now he's really nice design. I like how he's got a shirt on, which is changing it up from just flesh there. And then yeah, he's got his goggles on. The last Bruiser that I've got, he has to be the best, I'd say. I love them all. But I love his pose. He's basically a victory pose, or screaming Waaagh as they go into battle. Now on this you can see a little bit of the molding agent there, or the fluid from the 3D printing. Now that would be easy to clean up, I'm sure, if I give it a scrub, and obviously when I prime it you won't be able to see that anyway. Now I love how he's got one shoulder pad, and he's got chain, and then he's got that shirt, that tattered shirt. Really like his helmet. Now it's similar to other companies that do these helmets. It's like a It's like a face guard almost, but I really like the way Gear Guts has done that. It corresponds and fits in with the rest of his design, so it's kind of like a little skull design, which is really awesome. But yeah, thank you OTP Terrain for sending these to look at. Really appreciate that. Now the last thing OTP Terrain was kind enough to send me, because it took a while for my order, which I don't mind, but I really appreciate these gifts. I'm not gonna say no to this stuff. Now, I like this little container that they put them in. This is really nice. Now, they sent me a bunch of Gear Guts heads, so we'll go through one at a time and I'll show you. Man, this is awesome. Absolutely love that. It's like he's going to a football game or a baseball game. How cool is that? Love that. He's got a kind of charm about him, this one. He's got a bit of a smile happening, even though he's got those fangs. He's got a bit of a cheeky smile happening. I love that. Be good for a Blood Bowl Orc, like one in the crowd, like supporting the team. So cool. Now this one is sort of like a Burner Boy type design, or an Iron Man almost. It looks like Iron Orc. Yeah, that's really nice as well. Something different. Now there's a little bit of issues with the rivets there. As you can see, they didn't turn out quite that well, but that's okay. I mean, they chucked these in for free. Also, who needs it to be symmetrical? I can just take them off. It's all good. This one is amazing. I love the way it looks. It's very Death Skull looking. To make a Death Skull war boss or whatever, this will come in really nice and handy. It's already made me think I have to make a Death Skull and create my own version of a Death Skull colour scheme. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of marking from the 3D printing, but I've seen a lot worse out there. Some have this all over the model, this sort of pattern. So yeah, nothing a file or a knife can't fix up. Or I mean, it might even add a bit of texture to it. But yeah, that one's nice. Oh, this one's cool as well. It's like similar like a Flamer or Burner Boy. That is really cool. Love that design. Really nice 3D printing again. Really smooth in here. Not much cleanup here and there that a hobby knife can fix. But yeah, he's really cool. Another really cool design. Nice 3D printing again. A little bit of cleanup there with a knife, and then give it a bit of a scrub a dub just to clean it up. Should be all good. Now this is similar to the first one I've shown. Has a bit more of a grimace or an angry look to him. But I really love these hats. I don't know why, I just really dig those baseball caps. They look really sweet. Nice clean printing. That's awesome. Love how he's got one eye closed and open. Got some nice characteristics to him for sure. Now we got another Burner Boy looking one. So he looks awesome, very cybernetic. Has this mask that he's pulled over his face. Really nice crisp details. And the 3D printing is awesome. Very nice work. Now the last of these heads. Oh, this is awesome as well. Very sort of Death Skull again. Or just, I love how they have that armoured look. Like a lot of GW stuff. They don't really have much armour on them. I guess for boys and even knobs really. But I like how some of Gear Guts stuff has nice armour played into it. Could even use this as a mega knob, would really be nice. That's all the heads they sent me, and that's really awesome. Definitely have to get some more of these. These heads are really good quality. So now we'll take a look at the 4 war bosses. Now when I saw Gear Guts do these, I just knew I had to paint them up, and I wanted them in my collection. If you don't know the 4 war bosses of the Apocalypse, that's Skarnir, 6 Plus Stevo, Dim the Hobby Git, and Dreadwa. They all have an individual channel each. Plastic Crack Gaming for Skarnir, 6 Plus Stevo for Stevo, Dreadwa Gaming for Captain Dredd, and then the Hobby Git for Dim Reaper. So I'll leave all their links in the description box so you can check them out. We'll take a look at the miniatures here. Now these, as I said before, are really nice, heavy, decent quality resin. We have Skarnir here, General Skarnir. Now I love the pose on this. This is really chunky, big orc. Looks really menacing. So he has the traditional gear guts design, so he doesn't have an ear here. So he's quite cybernetic on one side, isn't he? Now I love the way Gear Guts does his shirts. Really love that. It's sort of tatted, like a tank top or a vest, depending where you're from and what you call it. Now, nice clean parts where you put the arm. Love all this design. Very hunched back and big. Has all these little skulls around his belt, his trophies. Now he's got this nice big military bag for all his blood axe needs. And that's an awesome miniature. The only thing I will say about these, they don't have bases, but that's okay. I can grab some big bases, some big war boss style bases. Now I'll most likely have these as display pieces anyway. I mean, my own army, I'm creating my own war bosses or whatever, but as I say, I just had to have these, so I'm not sure if I'll play with them, but I just love collecting orcs, and these I had to have in my collection. He has this nice huge arm, has these belts or straps around it, has really nice detail, rivets, and has this huge mechanical hand. Now Skarnir has a little hologram that he's speaking to. It's almost like he's Darth Vader and he's speaking to the Emperor. Looks like a little bruiser, like he's giving orders to the troops from afar, which is really awesome design from Gear Guts and really looks nice, really detailed. So it sort of has a pixely look to it, like a hologram would. So yeah, that's really cool. Now his other arm has this huge shooter. Now the barrels are drilled the way Gear Guts designs them, which is really cool. But yeah, this is a nice heavy piece. This is about as heavy, if not more, than a buoy or a knob. It's quite a nice piece. As you can see, a little bit of stuff here I need to clean up, but that's no issues at all. A hobby knife will come and clean that up all nicely. Now you can kind of have it up or resting down a little bit. I'll probably have it resting down, I reckon. But yeah, that's Skarnir from Plastic Crack Gaming. Now the next war boss is 6 Plus Stevo. So this is 6 Plus, War Boss 6 Plus. Now him and Skarnir together make Dad 2 Bald Knobs. Now they do sort of a podcast live stream every now and again, which is really good fun to watch. As Scania would say, it's good crack. So make sure you subscribe to their channels, because it's very orky, the content, and it's always fun to join in. Especially if you have time to join the live chat. We always have some great banter. So this is 6 Plus Stevo, probably my favourite out of the war bosses, as in how it's designed. I love the detail here. These are actually designed into the armour. He's got his, now Stevo has a few piercings, like lip and ears and stuff, and Gear Guts has added them to it, which is cool. He has a 6 Plus here. He has these tusks coming out of him, which has a skull on one. He has the necklace with some teeth on it. Now 6 Plus Stevo is a general for bad moons, so that's why he has plenty of teeth around. I love he's got the 6 Plus here. He's got it here and here, because he's a big deal. Now I love all his trophies. All these different skulls on him. He has these skulls and Even this rib cage on him. And this is really nicely designed, layered up here. Yeah, that's awesome. Now we'll have a look at his loadout. So in one hand he's got this nice big gun. So he's got 4 barrels all drilled out. It's a really nice design, nice and clean. Fantastic printing again. Has these exhausts out the gun, which is really awesome. It's a nice big gun that he's holding. On the other hand, he's got a claw. You've got to love a war boss with a claw, right? Now I love how Gearguts has done this part of the claw here. It's like a buzzsaw. It's all strapped to him. It's got the exhaust. So much attention to detail. Gearguts is awesome at designing this stuff. Now I love how the claws or the finger parts of the claw are all sort of almost got a come here look to it. Like he's pointing or telling a grot to go over there. So yeah, that's our 6+ Stevo. Now we've got our hairy git himself, Dim Reaper, the hobby git here. Now he's a rebel grot player, so what better orc to lead rebel grots than a runt herder? A bit controversial, that is, I believe. Now this is really cool, this design. I love how big these boar bosses are, they're awesome. Just as an Orc Warboss should be. So he's got these rebel grot symbols on them, the star. He's obviously got his channel name and nickname. The typical Gearguts face with a bit of a mohawk and a beard. And he's got some nice piercings. Now I love these goblins on the back. Well, they're all holding on for dear life and they're just doing what grots do. Just being little gits. Now he has the Rebel Grot logo again. Looks like he's got a bare chest, but he's got a lot of scarring or detail on him. Yeah, he's very mechanical and loves the way his armor looks. Now this arm, he's got a claw as well. He's got the Rebel Grot logo. There's a little bit something different about his claw though. He's got a couple of hidden shooters the Git does. Yeah, that's really nice. So what else would a runt herder have than this little stick to prod his grots? This little grabber. This little grabber here. Love the detail on his muscle, in his straps. The hand is really detailed. That's an amazing weapon there, an amazing piece. Now last but certainly not least, Captain Dredd from Dreadwa Gaming. Now this is an awesome piece as well as all of the war bosses. I love how different they all are. You know, each one is designed so differently and they represent different clans, which is really nice. You've got Blood Axe, Bad Moons, Rebel Grots, and now you've got Freebooters. Now old Dredd has a couple of dreads on him, the typical Gearguts face for his orcs. Now he's got this sort of skirt-like piece of armor, very cool. All these studs on here and all these bits stitched together, really nicely done. Has a bit of sort of chainmail looking stuff here. It's a really nice heavy piece again, really sturdy. Love the way that he's put these huge different shoulder pads on with these spikes and this glyph here. It's like a very freebooter looking glyph. It's got 2 shooters strapped to his back, ready to pull out and do some matrix stuff with. So yeah, this is a really nice piece as well. Now we'll have a look at his loadout. Now there's a little bit of cleanup here, just a little bit of, it's probably where the supports were. So just need a hobby knife to clean that up. It shouldn't be no issue at all. Looks like Dredd's making some deals with some Umis maybe or something. He's got his handful of teeth. Maybe he's paying some grots to do something for him. Who knows with Dredd, but yeah, it's a cool idea. Handful of teeth. Maybe he's buying a new shooter or weapon. Now Dredd's weapon is this huge chopper. It's really cool. It's very pirate-like. It's got this skull at the bottom. Very nice and heavy, and it's huge as well. It's, you know, about as big as a boy or a knob. But yeah, that's my loot from OTP Terrain. As you can see, 6+ Stevo's had a few. Maybe that leg's giving him issues again. He needs to lie down. These are amazing pieces. Gearguts has done an incredible job with the designs. Really loved the 4 war bosses of the Apocalypse. They're just awesome. They are all individually different, but the design brings them all together with his certain orc look. Like the face has that certain look to it. So you can see that they're all from the same range, but they all have such different personalities. It's really cool. And even his little bruiser boys, they're really awesome. We got Gearguts himself right there, which is in a really awesome design. So I'm glad to have him. So I've actually got 5 war bosses of the Apocalypse. So I believe this is Mark 1 of Gearguts. So he's recently done for Orktober a Mark 2, which is just huge. So it's even bigger than the new Gazskull. It makes the new Gazskull look small. So I'll have to grab him and compare him to Gazskull, compare Gearguts Mark 1 to Mark 2. After all those fights he's had, he's grown in size now. So I'll have to compare that to the rest of the war bosses. But yeah, I really love this line. As I say, I've wanted Geargut stuff for a while to look at. And now I've got it in my hands, I'm even more impressed. It just makes me want to get more. The bruisers are amazing. The heads are amazing. Really cool heads. I have to get some more of them. And yeah, I'll have to do a Gearguts Part 2 review eventually and get some other stuff. He brings out so much stuff. He's constantly making stuff and bringing it out. He has a huge range already. So yeah, I'll leave all that in the description box, as I said, so you can have a look at it. I'll leave the channels for the war bosses of the Apocalypse and their individual channels in the detail box below, so you can check out their Orky content. They make some really good Orky content. So just another shout out to OTP Terrain. You did a wonderful job with packaging. The 3D printing I'm extremely happy with. There's no issues there at all. Just a bit of cleanup. And I really appreciate you chucking in those extras. That was really kind and generous of you, and I really am grateful for that, and I appreciate it, so cheers. So if you want some terrain or miniatures, now OTP Terrain has licenses for a few other companies that I'll be checking out, so keep an eye on the channel for that. So if you want any terrain or miniatures, go check them out and see if you like them and support them, and tell them G The Hypersapien sent you. Now, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you think anyone would be interested in this, please share the video to them. I'd really appreciate it. And I'm sure Gearguts and OTP Terrain would appreciate some more business. But yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And this was G The Hypersapien. Catch you next time. Cheers.